Namaste. Nice to see you all today. Hopefully you're enjoying your Sunday time here, and we're at the Shanti Yoga Center, just about to have a session of strong Vinyasa, and hopefully we can dedicate our practice to some nice deep breathing, using our full capacity of our lungs, and just being present here in our practice. So let's get started. We're just going to stretch out our fingers and forearms. You can place your hands on the ground here. As you're comfortable, you can rotate them in towards yourself. Start taking some deep breaths here. You can pick your hands up and press back on the thumbs. Maybe you want to press down on the fingers. You can press them back. Maybe individually as well. Roll out the wrists. Switch directions. Good. Bring an arm across. And switch. Behind the head. And switch. Good. Release. Bring the hands behind. Lean back and stretching out the shoulders. You can lift up the hips. If you're comfortable, maybe you even want to try a little side to side with the hips. Moving around here. Come down. Reach forward with the hands. Over the left knee. And then over the right. Come up. Right hand to left knee. Breathe in tall. Breathing out, twisting. Switch. Come back. Roll out the shoulders. Switch directions. Good. Stretch out the neck. Nice. And then we'll stand up. Coming to the front of the mat. Bring the feet together. Bring the hands to the chest. Close the eyes here. And standing as tall as you can. Maybe even squeezing your heels together. Maybe tucking the chin just slightly. Maximizing the height. And then the deep Ujjayi breathing here. If you're unfamiliar with Ujjayi, this is a style of breathing we're going to be trying to use throughout the practice. It's all nasal breathing, but it was as if you were going to fog up a mirror. You would go, and then we do that with the mouth closed. We're tightening in the back of the throat to restrict the airway. It'll give us more control of the breath. Using this style of breathing also makes it so that we have an even flow to the breath. It also adds the sound to our breath, which helps us really rest the attention upon the breathing throughout the practice. quite a soothing sound. If you can develop this, it can even work on the in-breath as well. Our breath is quite possibly the best tool we have to keeping our consciousness here in the present, and nice proper breathing is one of our best tools for releasing toxins from the body, also bringing in nutrients, bringing in the oxygen. Set your intention to maintain nice deep breathing throughout the practice, with control, with the attention. With a breath in, bring the arms up. Breathe out, reach down. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, hands down, feet back. Upward dog. Breathing out to downward dog. You can wave the hips side to side here. You can maybe even step off the mat. Any movements that you'd like to try, go for it. Moving the body around, paying attention to how everything feels today, loosening yourself up. You might come way up onto the toes for a moment. You might move into plank for a bit and move around there. With a breath in, come forward. Breathe out. Breathe in up. Breathe out. Breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, reach down. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, hands down, feet back. Breathe out, downward dog. Very good. Take some deep breaths here, still moving around as you like. Being curious about the pose. Every day is different. Everybody's downward dog is different. Especially these first couple. Just move around and see what's going on. With a breath in, come forward. Breathe out. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out. Breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, reach down. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, hands down, feet back. Upward dog. Breathing out, downward dog. Good, we're going to do side plank here. Drop the left knee down. You can open up to the right side. This is one option. As you're more comfortable, you might try raising the right leg. You might extend the left leg. Maybe you still raise the right leg. Whichever is best, you decide. Take deep breaths here. Switch. Downward dog. Good. With a breath in, come forward. Breathe out. Breathing up. Breathe out. Breathe in, this time mini back bend. Breathe out, reach down. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, hands down, feet back. Upward dog. Breathe out, downward dog. Right foot forward, coming up into warrior one. As you breathe out, come all the way down. Breathing into upward dog. Breathing out to downward dog. Left foot forward. Breathing in, coming up. Breathing out, coming all the way down. Breathe into upward dog. Breathe out to downward dog. Good, now we're starting to get a little deeper into our downward dog. Try to put attention into your hands, spreading the weight out evenly, using the engagement of your hand to try to grab the mat. Draw shoulder blades together and down the spine away from the ears. Lift the tailbone, drop the heels, spread the toes. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Your gaze can be between the knees or maybe even higher. Good, with a breath in, come forward. Breathe out. Breathing up. Breathe out. Breathe in, mini back bend. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out, hands down, feet back. Upward dog. Breathing out, downward dog. Right foot forward, warrior one. And then at your own pace, follow your breathing, coming all the way down. Left foot, as you're ready. We're all meeting in downward dog here. You can always drop into a child's pose anytime. We usually take about 5 breaths in downward dog. With a breath in, come forward. Breathe out. Breathing up. Breathe out. Mini back bend. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hands down, feet back. Upward dog. Breathing out, downward dog. Right foot forward. Warrior one. Follow your breathing. Left foot when you're ready. Meeting in downward dog. Good, this time we're going to start with stepping the right foot forward, going into warrior two. So that back foot is perpendicular towards the front, or to the front foot. We want to have the knee directly above the ankle in the right leg. And then we're reaching back with the left hand. So there's a counter movement there. Every bit of bending that you're doing in that knee, you're also thinking about pulling that left shoulder back. You can be reaching back with that left hand. Left hand drops down, reach the right hand back. Reclined warrior, gazing towards the tips of the fingers in the right hand. Warrior 3, picking up that left foot. From here, as you're comfortable, you can try to bring your arms up towards your ears and maintain a nice strong back and shoulders as you lean into this pose to find the stretch in the right leg. And then we'll come all the way down. Upward dog. Breathing out to downward dog. Left foot forward. Warrior 2. Gaze is over the left hand middle finger. Even keep your hands active. You can be spreading your fingers wide and strong. The right hand comes down, reach the left hand back. And then Warrior 3. Come all the way down. Upward dog. Breathing out to downward dog. Good. Some deep breathing here. Nice work. Dropping down to the knees. Now we got some cat and cow. Back and forth with the breathing. Breathing out as you arch the spine up for cat. Breathing into cow, dropping the spine down. Try to slow it down as much as you can. Maximize your breathing. Aligning these movements with the breath. We're going to do spiraling cat-cow. Pushing the hips to one side, head to the other. Big circles. You can think about the spine being a corkscrew here. Deep breaths. Still aligning those movements with the breaths. It can be very nice once you're getting deep into this pose and pushing those hips around, but way more important, as in every pose, if you just do the deep breathing here and you're barely moving, that is not a problem. That's actually just fine. That's most of the benefit right there. Very good. And then we're going to lift the left leg and the right arm. You can do it there, or if you'd like, you can try it from the foot. Switch it up. Keep using the deep breaths. Downward dog. Good, we're going to raise the right leg into the air. Hang it over. And draw that knee up towards the forehead. And back. Towards the right elbow. And back. Towards the left elbow. Back. Towards the forehead, hold it up. And back. Towards the right elbow. And back. Towards the left elbow. And back. Draw it forward, lay it down. This is pigeon pose here. We're just looking for a stretch in that right hip. So you can move your foot further up the mat when you're looking for more of a stretch here. And then also you're going to think about letting that left hip roll over so that your hips are even over the mat. And then in this pose, you're mostly just relaxing as you lay down into the pose. Use the deep breaths. Continually using the focus to bring yourself into a deeper relaxation, scanning the body, checking for tension, letting it go. Keep releasing. Maintain that pigeon pose, or if you'd like to try, you can work towards king pigeon, picking up the back foot, and anywhere along this path is just fine for king pigeon. And then we'll all meet in downward dog. Left leg into the air. Hang it over. And draw that knee towards the forward, hold it up. And back. Towards the left elbow. And back. Towards the right elbow. And back. Towards the forehead. And back. Towards the left elbow. And back. Right elbow. And back. Draw it forward, lay it down. Find where you get the best stretch for your pigeon pose. Use the deep breathing to keep yourself sinking deeper into the pose. It's a great pose for visualizing, using some imagination in the practice to help get your body to relax deeper. It can be nice to liquefy the body and the mind and let it just sag down into the pose. And keep using that deep breathing. Great boost to the immune system as we use deep breathing too. Our yoga practice can be so incredibly dynamic and holistic as we're doing our deep breathing, as we really center our mind on our breath, we have our meditative practice, we have our spiritual practice. And as we're going through all these positions and giving it our best effort, we get some cardio along with this. And of course, we're gaining flexibility. And with your best effort, we can gain plenty of strength throughout our practice. And in many cases, we can even get a little social interaction with our yoga practice. This is limited here today, but that can be another part. We're going to stay there, or if you'd like to move towards King Pigeon, you can do that. And downward dog. With a breath in, come forward. Breathe out. Breathe in up. Breathe out. Feet shoulder width apart. We're going to bring the arms up. And then lock your arms, lock your back, nice and strong. Engagements all the way down the whole body here. And then just try to lift the tailbone and hinge at the hips. I'm going down for 10 breaths. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, on the way up for 10. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Release, shake it out, twist it out. Most likely there's some good burn there. Let it all release now. And then we're going to bring the arms up once more. And then we're going to let the arms fall down, but we're going to think about maximizing our lung space. So drawing shoulder blades back and staying nice and tall. And once again, hinge at the hips, but this time try to completely relax the arms, really isolating the muscles that we're activating here. The arms are just dangling as we're leading with the sternum. Even if you only come down this far, that's just fine. Take some deep breaths here. Really think about finding those activations. Maximizing that stretch. You might feel it early, and that's just fine. Once you're certain you have the deepest stretch you can find here, then release the whole upper body. And you can wave it side to side, maybe up and down even. You might slide hands underneath the feet if it's available. And then we're going to grab our elbows. We're going to hang out to the right side, and with the breath in, come up and drop down the left side. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down the left. That's a windmill. One more. And then 3 times the other way. And then we'll meet at the top. Release the arms. We're going to step the left foot back, extending the arms out. And then we're going to go into triangle pose. Reach that right hand forward, reach, 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 and then place that right hand onto the leg. Open yourself up towards the ceiling. I even like to use the left hand to pull the rib cage, pull the hip open. You can see if you can get the left hand thumb directly over the eyes. If your neck feels good, you can be looking up. If not, you can just be looking straight ahead here. We're going to bend the right knee, push off that leg, switch the feet now away or turning back. Reaching with the left hand towards the back. Place the left hand down, open yourself up towards the ceiling. Deep breaths. Might even be using that left hand to push against that left leg to help twist the body up towards the ceiling a little more. And then the left knee bends. Push off that leg. Switch your hips towards the back now. We're going into reverse triangle. Left hand is on the hip. Right hand comes up. Breathing in, reach high. Breathing out, reach towards the back. Placing that hand anywhere on the leg. Long spine. Breathe in. Make sure you're finding a nice long spine here. And then with a breath out, you can be twisting. Even if you start way up here, that's just fine. And then once you feel like you've got a solid posture here and you can maintain a good proper spine and a big open chest, then you can start sliding the hand down if you'd like. The left hand can come up if you have the balance for it. And then the left knee bends. Push off that leg, right hand up and over. And then switch the feet towards the front. Right hand is on the hip, left hand comes up. Breathe in, reach high. Breathing out, reach towards the front. Reach as far as you can and then place that hand onto the leg. Long spine, breathing in. Breathing out, twisting. Use deep breaths. Right knee bends, push off that leg, left hand up and over. Good, we're going to widen the stance here. And then you're going to breathe in, look up. Breathe out, come forward. Try to get your heels extra wide if you like. That can help deepen this stretch a little earlier. And then as you're coming down, maintaining the nice proper spine, trying to hinge at the hips. And once you've got a great stretch going, let your whole upper body relax. Let the hands come down to wherever you want them. Taking deep breaths. Just stretching down the middle here. Stretching to the right side. And to the left. Back down the middle. Good, come up. Meet your hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Lift the hands away from the hips as you come forward. This is essentially the same stretch, except now we're trying to add in a shoulder stretch here as well.
You can try alternate knee bends here if it feels good for you. You can also sway the arms side to side, up and down. And then come up.
Bring the feet together. Very good. And then we're going to find our way into our tree pose. I like to step off the mat for this one just to get that extra hard surface. You can place a heel next to the ankle, maybe the foot to the calf. Also available is above the knee. Try to avoid the knee with the tree. You can think about drawing that knee back here. Hands can be at the hips, at the chest, cactus arms, or above the head. There's also an option to place the foot onto the hip if you're interested. Take some deep breaths, lock your gaze here. Think about tucking that chin a little bit, maybe lengthen that spine. And then release. Shake it out and switch it up. Good, and then release. And from here we're going to try dancer pose. This is a good one to have a chair around or a wall next to you if you're feeling a little unsure about the balance. But you can pick up the foot, try to grab from the inside of the foot. And then from there, if you want more, you don't need to have more, but if you want it, you can raise the opposite arm up and then start to kick that leg and lean forward, but try to lift the chest as you do. Once again, lock your gaze on one point. And then release, shake it out. Switch it up. Keep using deep breathing. Good, release. Next, let's get into our side body, extended side body. So from here, you're gonna widen the stance. Let's try with the left knee bent. And then you're gonna bring the elbow onto the knee. You can extend the right arm, looking out towards the tips of the fingers of the right hand here. This is our first option. If you want, you can also try to engage the core and slide the elbow off the knee. And maybe you want to get a little deeper, then you can also slide out that right foot a little bit more so you can maintain the line. And use deep breaths. Good, and then we're going to all come up and we're going to go right into reverse extended side angle. So we're going to try to bring the right hand to the left knee. If you're still comfortable, try dropping to the elbow onto the left knee. Make sure you're lifting that back heel. This will be really impossible without lifting the back heel. And then you can even maybe try for a tricep onto the knee. And then you can also try to put your hands into prayer position. There's also an option to try to reach that right hand down towards the floor, over the knee. And then see if you can finish by just jumping that right foot next to the left foot, and then release. Good. And then switch it up. This is a tough pose. You can try to bring that elbow to the knee, long line from the outer edge of the left foot to the tips of the fingers. Deep breathing. Find the variation that works best for you. Good. And come up. Then you're going to lift that back heel, shortening the stance a bit. We're doing the reverse side angle here. Bending that knee, bringing the elbow to the knee. You can go deeper by bringing it to the tricep. And then we'll bring the feet together. Very good. Shake it out. Bring the feet together here. Bring the right arm up. And then reach it over. Let the left hand slide down the left leg. Good, and then switch. Try to keep half the weight in that left foot even though we're reaching away from it. And come up. Shake it out. Next, we're going to come to the front of the mat. Breathing in, arms up. Breathe out, reach down. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, hands down, feet back. Upward dog. Breathing out to downward dog. Our last downward dog. Strong hands gripping the mat. Shoulder blades together down the spine. Lift the tailbone. Drop the heels. Spread the toes. You can use your root and abdominal lock. Those are useful throughout the practice, actually. Any balancing or twisting pose especially. So that root and abdominal lock is, the root lock is the area right between the front and back privates. If you can engage there and hold that, as well as pulling in the lower abdomen. And then holding that in with those two engagements, you find that oftentimes poses have become a little more stable. You might be able to maintain them more longer. Good. And then we're going to drop the knees down. And we're going to also drop the elbows down here. Interlacing the fingers. We're going to go into headstand. If you have your own way of doing this, you can go ahead and do that now, but I recommend starting with interlacing the fingers, placing the head partially into the hands, and coming up onto the toes, walking forward as far as you can,
And then from there, if you still want more, you can try raising one leg. Try to maximize your capacity of stretching that leg up. And that way you can convert most of your weight above your head the more you walk that foot forward. And then if you have the strength and if you have it in your practice, and you can do it with stability without worrying of flopping around, you can also lift that leg up going into headstand. Many benefits to inverting the body. So even if your heart is higher than your head, even if you're just hanging out with the feet on the ground still, that is absolutely not a problem. You still get most of the benefits of reversing the blood flow, which is great for our brain, our digestive system, and our circulatory systems. And so you can drop down. We're going to take a moment here in child's pose after you're inverted. You always want to level out the blood. And then we'll come up. And then we'll stand onto the knees. We're going to go right into camel pose. Hands are on the hips. And then leaning back. If you have it in your practice, if you want to try to reach with one hand towards a heel, maybe both hands.
And just keep pushing those hips forward as you lean back. Still deep breathing.
And come up. Now we're going to bring the knees together, heels together. We're going to sit back towards the heels, grabbing the heels with the hands, drawing the forehead towards the knees, and then we're kicking the legs, trying to extend the legs while we keep trying to bring the forehead towards the knees without putting the head onto the mat. So camel pose is a big back bend, and as we're doing this pose, we're trying to release the back bend by making a big forward bend. This is the rabbit. Good, release. Bring the feet wide. And then we're going to sit back between the heels, keeping the knees together. Make sure that feet are pointed directly back. And then use your hands to decide how much weight is feeling reasonable for you. If you feel sharp pains, just come right out of the pose. If you feel okay though, you can keep sitting back, more weight. So this is a bit of a strange pose, just because we're not really stretching, we're not really strengthening. It's hard to maybe sense the exact benefit of this pose, but the idea is that as we move into this, we're actually cutting off some circulation to our joints, and then as we come up, we're going to get a bunch of fresh blood into those harder to reach areas. Maybe a simpler way to put it is use it or lose it. So as we're not moving our bodies into certain positions, our bodies become less capable of getting into them. So just taking some time to move around and to get into these positions, very helpful for the body to maintain them. Bring the feet out in front, and then you can massage the knees, roll out the ankles. Very good. And then flexing your feet, we're going to do actually our King of Locks. So place your hand onto the mat and then try to flex your feet as much as you can, maybe even get your heels off the mat. And also you're going to use your root lock, abdominal lock, and chin lock. So the locks are called bandhas, and this is the Mahabandha, the King of Locks. All three of them together. So you can roll your shoulders back, engage the three locks, and take some deep breaths here. Good, release. And walk your sit bones away from each other. That way we can hinge at the hips. We're trying to rotate our hips here. And once again, that's just so that we can engage the spine and keep a nice proper spine, that we maintain good breathing. But maybe most importantly is that we're not stressing out the spine, and all the stretch, all the attention is going right into the hamstrings and calves. We can also flex the feet as you keep walking those sit bones apart. That's going to keep allowing us to put all this effort and all the strain into the hamstrings and calves and off of the spine. And come up. Very good. Hands behind. Point the toes. We're going into reverse plank. You can start with a knee bend if you like, and then push off and point the toes. And then slowly drop yourself down, maybe stretching out the shoulders again. And then we're going to go into butterfly. Deep breaths. In this pose, you can still be using your core strength, arm strength, even your leg strength to try to drop the knees down towards the mat. And using all your power here to maybe move around in the pose and to keep getting a little bit deeper with each breath. The more you give to your practice, the more your practice gives to you. Good, and come up. You can set one foot off to the side a bit. Maybe you can use your hands here to press into the foot. Especially, I like to do the arch of the foot. You can use your knuckles or the first knuckle of the thumb. You can also use fingernails, helping to create some blood flow, especially into all the internal organs here. And then switch. Very nice. And then we're going to bring that left leg in. You could also have it extended out. It can be out or in, and then the right foot is going to come next to that leg, or it can also be over it. From there, you're going to find a tall spine. You're going to bring the left arm around the knee and breathe in tall, breathing out, twisting. Good, unwind all the way around. Good, and then switch your legs. Breathe in tall, breathing out twisting. Good, unwind with the legs as they are, coming around, and you're looking for a stretch in the right side body with this one. Good, and come back. And then we're gonna go into our hip stretch. Place the left foot onto the knee. The right foot is gonna drop down. Sorry, you're going to try to let that knee fall down towards the foot. You can also have this foot out here. This is no problem too. You might find your best stretch here for the hips. Feel free to close the eyes, move around in the pose. You can go side to side. Go ahead and switch the legs. Keep taking deep breaths. Always try to stay curious about the pose, seeing how minor adjustments will change the pose. And then we'll come up. We're going to go into our boat pose. So for the boat, you're just going to lift the legs up, try to find a straight spine. You can extend the arms, and as you're comfortable, you're going to start to also extend the legs. Here you can add any sort of variation, any kind of movements that you think can help you to help engage the core in different ways. We're trying to use that core. Maybe we can build some core strength as we're in boat here. You can also try to lift, even if you only come just a half of your weight or less off the mat. Just trying to keep the feet off, and maybe you come somewhat off the mat. To whatever extent works for you. Just keep working that core for a bit here. And then we'll lay down. Bring the feet up to the butt. Push the hips up. You can interlace your fingers below yourself here if you like, and press them into the mat, or you can grab your ankles. You can also go for a wheel if you have that in your practice. And then we'll drop down, and you can lay yourself flat. We're going to move into our happy baby, picking up the legs, grabbing the shins or the feet, rocking side to side, up and down. You've made it onto your mat here. Just winding down. Left leg drops down, keep the right leg, stretch it out. Drop it out to the side, look the other way. And bring it across the body. Looking the other way, try to keep both feet flexed if you can. Right foot onto the left leg thigh, draw it in. And let it down. Left leg comes up. Still using that deep breathing. Left leg out to the side, look the other way. And you can be grabbing your thigh here. You don't even have to hold the leg if you prefer. You can bend the knee as much as you like. We're going to bring it across the body. And then left foot onto right leg thigh. Let it down. Make the hands into fists. Flex your hands, your arms, your back, butt, legs, toes, face, everything flex. And then release. Deep breath in. And then sigh. Shake out the body. Any last movements, you can do them now. And then completely relax yourself here. Maybe you want to finish with just lengthening your spine. And then completely relax yourself. Just natural breathing at this point. No control of anything anymore. Entirely let yourself be. Using the awareness to observe the breathing here. And just to sense the feelings throughout the body. And taking a moment here as well to recognize some of the innumerable things to be grateful for in my life. Can bring a smile onto the eyes. We're going to start wiggling fingers and toes. Coming onto one side of the body. And without any hurry, coming up into any seated position. As we're getting ready to close out our session here, taking some deep breaths, just keeping the focus on the breathing, maybe a little bit more than your normal breathing. Take some deep breaths here. Notice after putting in all that effort, how much our mind and body becomes receptive towards just being. Doesn't need to jump from this and that, trying to look at the past and future. When we're in our healthy and vibrant state, it's so much easier to just be present and to feel joy. To close our practice today, I'm going to do a mantra for you today. This is a mantra given to me from one of my teachers in India, and it's fairly famous, but one of the lesser known ones that I've learned, and it really stuck with me. It's very much like a song. You can try to join in if you like, or even just humming along can be nice. Akunda mandala karam vyaptam yena chara charam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Akunda mandala karam vyaptam yena chara charam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Akunda mandala karam vyaptam yena chara charam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Thank you so much for joining this practice. Namaste.